curious about putting your podcast on YouTube, what the benefits are, and how this works? Or maybe you already have a podcast on, maybe you already have a YouTube channel releasing podcast episodes on there, but you're not really sure what is the difference between marking it as a podcast versus a regular YouTube video. I'm going to answer these questions for you in this video. Hey, it's Auret here from Essetino Media, and over the last 7 years, we've helped many business owners start and create profitable YouTube channels that help them grow their business, get more clients, and grow their communities, which I'm sure is what you are wanting to do with your podcast, expand your impact and community. So let's first talk about the benefits of why you would want to put your podcast on YouTube. Is it worth the effort? And spoiler alert, the answer is yes. Why? Because when you put your podcast on YouTube, you have the ability to get way more visibility than what your podcast is getting right now. Right now, you are likely releasing your podcast through a platform like Libsyn or just a podcast distribution platform, right? When you put your podcast on YouTube, it will also distribute it to the music app, the YouTube Music app. So you can see here the image on the screen. There's a tab within the YouTube Music app that is especially for podcasts. So people can actually search and find your podcast episodes in this app when you release it as a podcast on YouTube. Your podcast will also be more likely to be recommended and discovered by people who are already watching podcast material or episodes. So this comes down to the YouTube algorithm, right? If they notice that there's a viewer over here, a group of viewers over here that are interested in fitness and wellness podcast content, then they might be more likely to show your wellness fitness podcast to them so that they can discover it and engage with it. It's also possible your podcast might get featured on the YouTube podcast page, which you see here on the screen. This is a page that is specifically dedicated to podcast material. The other thing too is they make it easier for viewers or listeners to engage with other episodes in your podcast, because like you see here, you have a special little badge or different kinds of text. Instead of it saying view full playlist, it's going to say view full podcast. And you will even have a separate tab on the front end of your channel that says playlists. So right now, you know how you have a tab that says videos and shorts. There will be another one once you start releasing podcast episodes that says podcasts. So people can easily engage with that if that's something that they like to do. So those are a few benefits, but now let's go into, does it have to be like an actual video when you're uploading it as a podcast? Or what if you have just audio only? How does that work? So if you have an actual video, meaning like one of our clients, she films herself interviewing her guest, and that's an actual filmed video, and they use the audio from that to release it as a podcast, but also the video itself to upload to YouTube. Now, if you do have the video, like I mentioned, and it's not just audio only, then from the back end of your channel, all you need to do is just click on Create, New Podcast. And then you can see here, it's going to ask you, do you want to create a new podcast, or do you want to do either of these two things? If you have the video for it, you're going to click on Create a New Podcast. If it's audio only, you just have the audio, you don't actually have your podcast in video form, then what you can do is connect your RSS feed and you can grab the link from whatever platform you use to distribute your podcast. And you can see here, as it says, new podcast episodes will automatically be uploaded to YouTube and therefore the YouTube Music app from your RSS feed. And it's going to ask you you'll be able to upload a graphic, and essentially it will have a graphic placed in that video and then just play the audio of the podcast for you. Now, what if you already have your podcast on your YouTube channel? You've been releasing them as videos or as audio. You have a set of videos already, and you want to know, can I retroactively make those into podcast episodes? And because right now they're just uploaded as regular videos. So what you can do is you can actually set that playlist that you have with your podcast episodes and assign it to be a podcast playlist. So let's go back here. In this case, Darla, our client, has her Activating Magic podcast playlist right here. So right now it's a regular playlist, but I'm going to turn it into a podcast playlist, and I'll show you what it looks like, how it's different on the front end. So on the front end, you can see here in the playlist tab, she has the Activating Magic podcast, and it's just a regular YouTube playlist. But what we're going to do on the back end here is hover over these 3 dots, and I'm in the content section of your YouTube dashboard, by the way. Hover over those 3 dots and then click on Set as Podcast. And then it's going to ask you to input a description for your podcast, a title, as well as the thumbnail. So I already have this ready to go. I'm just going to paste my description here, make sure it looks good. There's some extra weird spacing here, so I'm just going to fix that. And then I have the thumbnail, so I'm going to upload it right here. I'm going to leave the visibility to public, of course, because I want other people to discover it. And you can also set the video order. So I always like to just have it in order by date published. So once you've done that, you can click on Done. And then you'll notice it looks a little bit different here, right? Let's see what it looks like on the front end. So I'm just going to refresh this, and you'll notice now we have a podcasts tab on our YouTube channel, as well as this right here. It says view full podcast. So this just makes it easy for people who are already interested in podcasts to right away engage with your episodes. And you can see this is what it looks like. And if I click on any of these episodes here, it's going to show me the other episodes within the podcast again, which is really great because you are giving people an opportunity to engage with more of your content, increase your watch time, get to know you more, and get more visibility in those other areas that I mentioned through the YouTube Music app and through the watch page. So if you found this video helpful, please do give it a thumbs up to let YouTube know this is good content. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.